absolutely included. That's the purpose of putting pictures in the presentation. So, here's the agenda. Agenda is divided into 3 parts. First is the theory, second one is the practical, and third one the research. When you see in the theory, there is the introduction to oil and gas, definition to EPC contracting, and company background. Then there's a practical part where I'm involved in the project, actually planning the EPC project, scope of supply, and also cost and time of progress. Last one, the research part, where we identify what were the problems in the company and how we work on it. Methodology, identification of problem in EPC, and conclusion and suggestion. So, what's the motivation for me to do this project? In my real opinion, I feel we are still dependent on oil and gas. We are in this century, but we are still dependent. How indispensable it is, how important it is, and that was one of my motivations to go in this field. And unfortunately, there are less research and innovation is done in this sector. So here is a small picture which shows that energy consumption by the sector in 2007, we see renewable energy 7%, nuclear 8%, oil 39%, natural gas 23 and 22. And here this part, when we see, we can see how we are completely dependent on oil and gas. Okay, motivation number 1 may not be very convincing, may not be very to the point. But one of the research, McKinsey, shows that there is a less job crisis in this sector. So there is a hope I might can work. That's the second motivation to do this project. Now, here's the introduction to oil and gas. What is all about? Here's the oil and gas supply chain, where we see here's exploration, we have production, we have crude pipeline, shipping, and then it's finally used for the commercial purpose. So we can see how interesting it is. Now, in oil and gas industry, divided actually in 3 terms. We have upstream, midstream, and downstream. What is upstream? Upstream is exploration. And where the exploration is done? Exploration is done somewhere in Africa or somewhere in the ocean. Here's the picture. This is for FPSO, floating production storage and offloading, which is a small, not small, very big ship in the ocean, and drilling is done and oil is extracted. Then we have midstream. Midstream is divided in 2 parts, where there is a transportation by piping, and we have refinery somewhere, for example, somewhere in Genoa, there's a refinery. And then we have distribution, how to distribute it, or the gas station. That's the little background. Now, in this slide, I'm going to talk about what the EPC contract is, what the oil and gas is, and how actually it's important to all of us in different to our location, in different to our profession. So here's the picture which says that what is EPC contracting is and how and why it's important for oil and gases. So EPC is the engineering, procurement, and construction. It's a kind of contract which is done in oil and gas sector. For example, let's assume there's a big oil and gas plant, and the company and we need to refine, or we need to filter some nitrogen gas for the gas turbine. So we need a machine. For this machine, we need a supplier. So this supplier is responsible for engineering part, procurement part, and construction. In the same way, here's the metaphor, what it is. In the same way, when a builder, he make a big building, and in the end, he hands over the key in the hand of the purchaser. When the purchaser enters in the building or in the flat, he finds electricity is working, gas is working, telephone is working. At the same time, that flat is very well synchronized and connected with the other flats in the building. So that's the real, one of the points to give this metaphor for oil and gas and how important it is. Now, we switch to the second part of the presentation, which may be more interesting to commission. EPC contracting project. We have a client in Saudi Arabia, and he needs a machine which is called a skid to filter the nitrogen gas for the exploration of something. So what is the skid? Can we imagine? If not, here's the picture. So if we see this picture, there are reservoirs, there are pumps, there is a fitting, there is a mechanical bulk material, there is electrical bulk material, and we are actually going to make this skid or of the total cost. Instrumentation is 14% of total cost, and then the 2% manpower, second electrical cost 50%. What this information can help us? This information can help us to quote the final price to our customer, which is very much indispensable. Now, once we have designed everything, we have structural cost, we are in the activity planning phase. And research shows that some of the EPC projects fail due to the bad activity planning. So how indispensable it is, how important it is, it's just like the order pairing. First we wear socks, then we wear shoes. We never do it in the wrong way. We did not wear first shoes and then socks. So in this, here is the Gantt chart. In the Gantt chart, unfortunately it's not very clear. In the Gantt chart, here you will see the entering part, here is the procurement, and here is the construction part. How strategically these activities are connected with each other. What are the predecessors activities? What are the successor activities? It is shown in the Gantt chart. And by the calculation of critical cost method, we calculated that it will take 256 days approximately to finish this project. This is very important.
Excuse me, Kumar, just for clarification, this Gantt chart is killed. Is your activity or is something that you take from the...
I have designed it under the supervision of professor.
Perfect.
Yes. Now, we're going to talk about economic progress curve. What is economic progress curve? We have design cost. We have a Gantt chart. But how much it costs? Actually, what happens? Well, there's a project of 5 million euros, and the company go to bank and they ask for the money. But when we sign the contract with the company, with the client, money is not paid in one transaction. Money is paid in the different phases of the project. So once the money comes to company, at the same time we pay to our supplier. Once money comes to company, we pay to the bank. So it's very important to understand what is our economical status in real time. How much balance we have inside the company. So here's the economical progress curve, which is not very clear, but here's the glance. If you see here, and here's the connection. So every part, for example, every bar is divided into 3 parts, which is the cash in, cash out, and here's the net balance, which eventually help the project manager to have the right picture of the future, and he can also promise to find, or he can also promise to top management, hey, here is the picture, and we are going in this direction for a certain point. If the client is done in the ERP system, for a certain point, if the client says, hey, I'm not ready to pay money, I have some problem with economic crisis, so many things. We just assign the value 0 in somewhere in the ERP system, and it changes automatically. It changes the shape, and which can help us to have the right picture for the future where the problem is going. Now, so far we have completed the practical part. Now we're going to go for the research part, which is maybe a little bit interesting. In the research, we have the problem in the company. They said the company is the integration of 3 companies. One is engineering SR, other one instrumentation SR, and other one the construction. They have combined these 3 companies and made the one big company, which is called EHS Group. But there are the problem in the company. They are not really doing very well, and people are not really convinced how the process, how the whole deal is structured. So we have collected the data from the company. We have collected primary data from primary sources, secondary sources. We have also established some well-defined structure by ABB and General Electric, and we have divided the company in the 4 critical segments, which is the organization structure, operation process, IT, and training. In organization structure, we have critical issues. For example, level of, it's written in Italian if you can understand. Level of delegation, resource which are not used, roles and responsibilities. Here in the operation part, we have project management, knowledge management, and this essential workflow. Here we have IT, and here we have training. These are the issues in each segment. Now, what we have done, we have interviewed the 18 managers, including the CEO, and conducted a semi-structured interview and asked them, what is the problem? Please tell us something about it. And then we have done the polarization. What is the polarization? We have the quote from one manager, from other manager, and we give the positive or negative point. Here we are talking about the negative point. How we did it? It's in the second slide. What you see here in organizational sector, we have 8 is the point of criticality and level of delegation. If we go to the process sector, here's 11 is the point of delegation for efficiency, and here is the 6 is the point for IT, and here 10 is the point for technical training. We have calculated this data. What are these numbers? These numbers are the critical point, which shows the severity, I mean how important they are, and they should be worked out. Now, here's the analysis. We have done the synthesis of this entire information, and here's the analysis. Out of these 67 critical points, we have 26 in organization structure, 23 in the operation process, 10 in IT, and 8 in the training sector. So, now, we have so many problems. We have so many critical issues. What to do? How to solve these problems? Here is, we have done a small synthesis. And we got the data. For example, in organizational sector, we have 26 problems, correct? In this 26 problems, level of work delegation has a very high degree of criticality, which is 30.70% of the total criticality. In operation, we have 23 points where workflow efficiency is 47.82% of this. So we have in each segment we got the problem, which is a high degree of criticality, and then we have put something like here. So I think, in my opinion, like companies should put, there are so many problems, companies should put their first effort to solve this problem, because one of the Japanese philosopher, Kaizen, said that make the small change and see the difference. If that small change is the positive, it will help you to make the big change and big difference. It's done in this way. Now, what we have learned within these 5 minutes. So we have learned this much. We have learned this much in these 5 minutes. What we have learned. Now I understand what the oil and gas is. We understand now what is EPC is. And now I understand what are the problems in the ECIS group for the EPC project. Now picture is clear, and here is presentation. Thank you.
Very quickly, just clarification. Thank you for your presentation, fun presentation, and interesting. When you talk about the area of improvement of this company, did you analyze even a possible solution to this problem, and in this case, the amount of resources, especially from the economical and temporal resources that you should put on the budget of this company in order to overcome some problems that you analyze the emergency presentation?
Yes, I think yes, it's a very interesting question. Thanks for that. In my opinion, the work was the identification of the problem. Like, what are the problems? That's what would be the suggestion. That was not my research, actually. So it was more on the problem identification. What are those critical points? What are the why it is? This is what the research. So far, the suggestion is concerned means that I didn't do that. Suggestion is not. However, one of the important.
Yeah, my question is, do you have an idea?
Yeah, here it is.
Talking with the people, with the interviewer, probably they give you some suggestions.
Like, here is what I have drawn here, this part. If you see here, in every segment, for example, organizational sector, we have 26 critical points, where level of work delegation has a high degree of criticality, which is a 30.70%. Rest are the down there. In operations sector, we have 23 problems, and this workflow inefficiency is 47.82, which is a high degree of criticality. Rest are under this. What I have done, I have taken, there are so many problems. I have summarized these points. I took the high critical point from every segment, and then make here that this is a small decision. But the company, there are so many problems, but it would be nicer for the company to put their first effort to solve this problem first, because if the result goes positive, it will help them to make the bigger change and bigger difference, and it will motivate the people to do better.